Gaming, they looked at the U.GG tier list and they're like, all right, pick the 5 highest champions. But I mean, they just don't make sense together. And especially when Lissandra's been picked. I don't like harping on draft too much because, I mean, at the end of the day, execution is the thing that matters. That is what, the game's all about. And the best teams can win even with suboptimal drafts. But it just feels like this is so suboptimal for Pain Gaming and Loud. Croc on a playmaker, Tinones on a playmaker. I'm expecting them to be able to roll their way through game 2.
That Croc-Tinones combo is lethal in the early game. Now, it must be said that the origin of Yep Croc plays comes from Lee Sin. That is why we started saying Yep Croc, because sometimes Croc just goes insane. He just lives on another planet. He fires himself into the sun, and you're like, well, that's a shame. And Lee Sin is the quintessential champion for doing that. So there is an angle where Croc misjudges critical parts of this game and throws away a lead or gives away too much gold to Pain in that early laning and mid game, and that could be all Pain needs to roll that forward into the win.
I mean, that is a completely fair point. We talked earlier about Robo getting caught out a lot as one of the issues that Loud had early on. The other big one was Croc looking a little disjointed from the team. So I do agree that definitely could be a place of exploitation for Pain. I don't honestly think we've seen that side of Croc for a while, to his credit. I think he's really stepped up for the latter half of the split as far as maybe reducing some of the full sends that we see that make me scratch my head. But they do still happen, so maybe, just maybe, Pain could find one.
That B1 Sejuani vibe right there. It's a lot harder to screw yourself over when you have B1 Sejuani. Maybe that's why they're prioritizing it so hard for Croc. And the other side of that coin is he could completely 1v9 the early game on this piece and get all of his lanes ahead, and then it becomes unlosable.
Croc's power is just contained when he's on the Sejuani. It's like how wrestlers wear a belt, or whatever. Like Machoke's Pokedex entry where it wears a belt so like it can control its strength. Like that's exactly. Croc with Sejuani.
With Sage. It keeps him under lock and key, keeps him contained, or the entire CBLOL would explode. This man was fully unleashed, and we might just see that here today in game number 2. As we have Robo and Scrappy onto Wiser, but the Cassandra will be more than fine to just weather that one, as Karaoke is also up there just in case needed. And then Dinkado doesn't love the matchup into Lysandra as an Ahri, but can at least still just clear the wave as usual in the early lane.
Now, Robo wasn't able to crash on 3 right there, so it is a bit of an awkward spot. And with Croc on the top side of the map, bottom side of the map, there is the opportunity for Pain Gaming to make a play should they want it. And they're going to spot out Croc right here. So Pain Gaming, it does feel like they have all the information that they need to operate early on, but Croc knows that he just wants to defend bottom.
Wiser actually drags Robo back into the tower to take a shot. Both these top laners dropping ever lower in the trading, and the junglers have all moved away now as Wiser could commit forward here with the grasp. Getting a little bit of a lead on that top side in the 1v1 would be very, very impactful for them. Have at least one lane under control.
The wave should critically push back to Robo, though, so he is going to get out of this situation without dying. Or, like, at least in theory. You never really know with Robo, but I'm pretty sure that'll be the case. And so it's just going to be both junglers, handshaking sides of the map. But I've got to say, I think early on, pre-6, this feels like it favors Loud.
Yeah, I would say so, generally speaking. Assuming correct execution, which Loud have not really been making any major mistakes so far today. Chaos and Root currently on the push. They had Croc still waiting, just covering them off there. As the Zeri-Leona combo, we'll see how this pans out in the 2v2, especially against Lucian Nami. And then later on, when Sales has a bit more freedom, look for the engages and dive into those backlines. But Root and Sales had a stellar game 1, and Sales was always in the right place at the right time.
Most certainly. And now Lucian Nami going pretty even in the early lane, but the way this matchup goes into Zeri, it's actually not particularly crushing in the early levels. Where it really comes on is that first item. Gale Force on Lucian, Mandate on Nami. As getting aggressive.
Oh, there's the knock up, and there's another tower shot for him and a big minion wave. Will both step away even closer to death for either side. Robo and Wiser, they'll hold on. And Robo keeps control of this wave, importantly.
Now, he's down about 10 CS, but is critically fine, not dying still. But continue the point that I was making before, once you get that one item on the Lucian Nami, that's when this matchup really swings. Because anytime Zeri wants to contest a mid wave, you can just all in her and force her off, maybe even get a kill if you're far enough ahead. And makes the game really, really difficult to play for Loud because their AD carry is basically perma chunked out of any single timer, and it gives Pain Gaming run of the map. So that's what I'm looking for from Bvoy in the mid stages of the game. We'll see if that's able to come to fruition. But in the meantime, level 6 on the mid laners. Dragon has been started up. I favor this engagement for Loud. They're the first ones here as well, and gonna be theirs.
Pain, I think, remembers how game 1 went quite vividly, and Loud, as always, it seems these days, onto that 6-minute Dragon. They had Bvoy and damage on the reset. Root and Sales were there in time, so they'll take that nice Hex Tech taken over in the lane. Next Dragon being a Chem Tech as well, what the stall ends up being. And Pain, given that they do want to get those early leads, they want to get this game kind of sewn up before too long. Depending on what that Dragon's Soul is, might affect how heavily they want to play around it when they're trying to get those leads in mid-game.
Pain Gaming, they do still have some control over the bottom side of the map. I mean, for all intents and purposes, all the lanes going very, very even. So game not really getting out of control. It's just that one Dragon that separates the both of them. We're just waiting for that moment where the CBLOL explodes. You know what's coming when Croc's on a champion like Lee Sin. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of when and where. Maybe around this Herald in about a minute's time. But we're not quite there yet. And everybody's just... there's a lot of tension. You can see mid laners roaming, junglers hovering lanes. They're waiting for that action. It just hasn't come up yet.
And damage stepping forward with a wave that is pushing towards Loud. Croc completes the recall. The 2v2 remains. Both the mid laners headed away as well. Gold dead even still in this early stage. Loud with just the Dragon. Play with off that nice reset timing. They are happy enough with a quiet early game. Croc, even though he is on the Lee Sin and he would love to get stuck in, I imagine, doesn't have any massive pressure to do so with the Zeri scaling up. Wait. Will at least have the ult almost ready. Once Croc gets to level 6, perhaps the Intinones will get a bit spicier with Pain Gaming.
And Croc just hit it right there. Karaoke a little bit behind on that one, but still no ambition to really start up a crazy play. They're just more than content with farming. Now, normally, Trajan, you've heard my opinions about Full Clearly Sin. I am not a particular fan of that sort of playstyle. However, I will say, it actually worked, I think, very well for Allow this game. I don't think they've had a lot of onus to make crazy plays. And it's not like Croc has done nothing. He's diligently covered his lanes. He still aggressively started up the Dragon and dared Pain to fight. And when Pain didn't, you say, okay, we'll take the advantage. Thank you very much. So, again, not particularly a fan, but it has worked out. Now, he is starting Herald on the top side of the map. Karaoke is down here on the cross map, and Root is only level 5, doesn't have the Lightning Crash available should they want to go for a dive, but the wave already so substantially thinned out.
Root and Chaos going to weather this storm as the level 6s come through, and now the dive becomes pretty untenable for Pain Gaming. Croc's going to pick up that Herald. He's got the value on his side of the map. No more action for him to come through. Karaoke still stepping up, still making aggressive moves, threatening onto Root and Chaos. They will hold their ground under the tower. Bvoy and Damage at least will find a plate for their trouble.
It is something, but this is exactly what we saw last game. Loud dominating on the objective game with Pain, not really getting much in response whatsoever. Robo should be fine, just getting more money onto him with that Herald, and it's a nice advantage for Loud, gone over with very, very little cost.
Karaoke is basically just set up shop in this bot side, working on the Krugs now as well, as a second plate will be picked up for Bvoy and Damage. They do find another big, nice gold injection for their Lucian Nami. When they pull the back, they will be considerably richer than Root in the inventory and can maybe start leveraging some power then. Yeah, Pain kept the gold even with those counter plays. To be honest, given that they didn't have the Herald, that is pretty nice for them, as now Wise is going to pick up some gold as well. They are doing fine in these lanes, but we want more than fine. We're looking for good, potentially even great for Pain. Get them into this mid-game in a position where they can actually start to leverage their combat.
Yeah, and that was a good stay by Pain Gaming on the bottom side of the map. I expected them to back off after one plate, but by being able to deny and another entire cannon wave, as well as pick up another plate, it actually puts Bvoy very, very far ahead in the gold chart, as you saw right there. So not entirely terrible for Pain Gaming. It ends up being a fairly decent sequence. And again, we talked about if Lucian's able to get a little bit of a lead, once you get to that Gale Force mandate spike, you can really start to bully Zeri on these mid waves and always have priority over the river and over the fight. See if they're able to make that one come true, though. They don't have that spike yet. And it is Loud setting up shop in the river around the second dragon, spawning in 10 seconds.
They'll potentially follow their usual plan as they go straight onto route aggressively with Karaoke following up. To knock up onto Seos as Maokai, still with the ult, still with the flash, doesn't hard commit in there as Wiser goes all out onto Robo with the Cassante insect back under the tower, and that's the 1v1 solo kill that he's been hunting for.
Well, that one looked a little bit goofy, but I don't think the goofiness is done as we got a 4v4.
Committing over the wall, they'll find damage, but Croc drops ever lower. Seos as well with nothing left. Dinkato comes in with the ultimate. This could be massive for Pain. They find the jungler. Dinkato looks for the resets. Comes Karaoke. He's already used his flash. Can he lock up Tinones even further? Looks like maybe not. A lot of low HP bars for Loud. And I imagine Pain, they'd have loved to get more there.
Yeah, you would have thought, but they're still able to trade it back pretty evenly with Croc going down and a health bar advantage. I think this is going to be Dragon to Pain Gaming, and the solo kill in top and then the 1-for-1 in bot. Hold your horses here, Trajan. There might just be a hope for them yet.
We are not done just yet for sure, Hawk. Pain Gaming, now with over 1,000 gold of the lead, they even up the Dragons. And they have more plates coming off. Now they finally have some gold to work with on these carries. And Dinkato still picking up the kill. We didn't love to see the Ari, but he can be massive on these playmakers.
And we'll get to take a look at this topside play real quick. It's just Robo getting knocked under the tower and the leap strike getting interrupted by the all out right there. Really well played by Wiser to find that first blood kill. And then on the other side of the map, look, I see the idea for Loud. I think their comp is stronger and damage does present a target, but they go in so deep just to kill the Nami without much of a way out. And we saw it last game. Ari's so good at chasing down these targets in this style of fight. And it was Tinones the first time. Now Dinkato able to do the same thing and do a hell of a lot for Pain Gaming.
That has pushed us on to where B-Boy has the Gale Force ready as well. Dinkato with the Everfrost. Loud trying to fire back, trying to save some time, not live in pain. Any opportunity to get their feet under them. They will at least force a dash away from B-Boy. The ult came to nothing for Seos. Lucian Nami will be fine down here, as now we see these top laners still scrapping away. Both Mythic done from either side, but I imagine the Divine Sunder from Robo a bit better in the 1 versus 1. Croc slipping away from the bubble there, not even close. Head back to his own side.
Nerves of steel right there from Croc. That bubble was a hair's breadth away from hitting as Robo's all-in.
Robo's dropped the ultimate, and there's the all-out again. Once again, Wiser does have the burst one through with the Q, but Robo, empowered W, just about wins it again. Not even close. And the Divine Sunder is just too good.
Yeah, and Robo on the player cam waving goodbye to Wiser right there after the solo kill. Make it 14 on the split. Good answer back. The Divine Bonk Stick, allowing him to get the job done.
Now he's going to get free time on that top turret as well in the Jax. Could have been in a position to struggle to be slowed down in this game. After getting the help from Croc, will still find first turret gold. But now he is pretty much, he's sitting pretty up there. He is all good, sorted out through that lane. And we'll see how Loud choose to organize this. Now they have this long lane up top lane. They could put Root and Spells up there to give this area a bit of breathing room. They could let Robo just continue running wild.
Yeah, and getting that first tower is so huge. And as we pass 14 minutes now, turret plates falling. We are firmly into the mid game. We are going to start to see, I think, some of the struggles for Pain Gaming's composition. This is simultaneously where it is strongest and where I think things will start to get difficult, because this is where they really have to start breaking open the game. They did get a really nice lead for B4 on that item spike that they need, but you can see Loud scaling is starting slowly but surely to get there. Robo with the Divine Bonk Stick, as I said, 2 levels down, doesn't matter. That's still a Jax. He's able to get in there with the counter strike, and I mean, really just stat check this Cassante.
That is crazy that it just worked when he was literally 2 levels down. That is insane. Against level 2 all-out ultimate.
The wave.
And he just wins. Yeah, Robo never worried in that scenario. And Loud are the ones now with over 1,000 gold lead back in their favor, failing to playoff later on. So, comfortable for our defending champions still in game number 2. But Pain Gaming, with another fresh strategy for us, have shown something more in that early stage, but we just need to not rock up 5v5 for an objective fight, I guess, as they did in game 1.
And they will trade this Herald for the tower. And I gotta be honest, I think rocking up 5v5 for an objective fight is exactly what they need. I'm looking at this dragon in a minute and a half to be the moment where Pain can really break open the game. If Loud weren't a CBLOL team, I would say they should give this objective. I don't think they will. I think they will absolutely send it and make the game incredibly entertaining for both of us. But, I mean, this is the time to fight right now for Pain. Right now, as you highlighted, 1,000 gold down. They're in an okay spot, but they don't have the lead that their composition needs to be able to win.
They need something to spark that, something to get the lead decidedly back in their favor. They can't just sit around and hope that Loud gives it to them. Loud are not giving up anything free today. For the second back-to-back title on the cards in front of their eyes. They would love to start an era for Loud. As Pain would just love to get back on the trophy after many years of missing it. 2021 Split 1 was the last title for Pain Gaming. And Dinkedo, the mid laner that we have talked about so much today, he hasn't won a title since 2018. It's been a long old time for him. And he's playing real good today. He's playing real good this year. Could be his moment to make it back to the top.
I mean, it just goes to show, right? If you're maybe someone that hasn't watched too much CBLOL over the years, like me, only coming in at the start of the split, something you will quickly realize is there is a lot of pedigree, a lot of players with some very, very iconic brands that are truly indicative of the CBLOL, of that CBLOL difference, Trajan. And we're going to see a little bit more of that as we get a dive potentially in top lane. But Team Kato, really nice cover, actually. Protect Weiser on the cross map.
Shepherded up, and Croc's threatened to come around, but the tower just about alive. They will proc the eye, and Weiser and Kato can keep that massive inner turret gold boost under lock and key. The 600 gold will not be secured by Loud, and Pain behind the dragon on the bot side. So Loud did not go for the 5 versus 5. They were busy with their own play. Pain had the answer.
That was a really, really great play by Pain. Maybe the best one we've seen from them so far this series, getting some confidence under them as they acknowledge, hey, Loud's probably going to give up this dragon. They actually didn't do the CBLOL send that I was expecting, Trajan, and instead walked away. And it meant that Pain actually anticipating that sends Dinkedo up to thwart the dive onto Weiser, protect the kill and the tier 2 tower from going down and deny the cross map. That is very high level macro play right there from Pain Gaming, and extremely quality stuff. The kind of thing that can win you a grand final and send you to the midseason invitational.
It is another Ocean Rift for us here in game number 2. And I dare say Pain Gaming would love to get that one on deck with their mobile carries that can dip and dive in and out of fights, proc the Ocean Storm many, many times, keeping themselves healing up versus Loud to, a lot of that late game damage is coming through in a DPS style, not necessarily burst. Scary, the Jacks, they are chipping and whittling away at you over many, many auto attacks. The Ocean Storm could help Pain deal with that one if this game gets a little bit too long, gets a little bit too spicy for them. And Kato still desperately holding on to the top lane tower. I doubt he'll be able to hold on to it past this wave.
Hold on, though. He does have the cavalry coming in from the top side jungle, and Croc and Robo, a little low, however. They will end up just backing away. So Loud, they eventually get their payday, but is a bit delayed. The game is still just on a knife's edge.
So much knowledge of that top side. They knew exactly what was going on. Loud not getting sloppy, not rushing through this, not necessarily, we spoke about how they show up to 5v5s like, just gonna rock up, we're gonna fight you. We're here first. You wanna fight, we can fight, that's fine. But they're not being kind of lazy on the vision game on these different kind of plays. They're not just walking into a lane and saying, we're just gonna shove this, what are they gonna do? They do their due diligence and they get that vision down well in advance.
It's like we said last game, right? Like Loud, they may be volatile and aggressive, but they're actually very clean about it. They're very calculated in the plays that they can make, and they oftentimes do their due diligence to make sure that they don't give over anything unnecessary. And that's exactly it. Pain, they're answering back very well in this game to everything that Loud's doing. But when you actually look at the scoreboard, Loud's still winning, Trajan, and we said that Pain Gaming needs to get ahead. I've not seen B-Void Gale Force forward on a mid-wave once, and that is a bit concerning.
Need a bit of impetus here from Pain Gaming to keep themselves in it as Loud. Even though Pain did have a good answer to Loud's earlier play, Loud still got the turret eventually, and it's only 2 dragons for Pain. It's not really a win condition as of yet. Will need to find their way to decidedly break their way back in. There's now 2 minutes on the next dragon, and we really don't want to see Pain Gaming just catching waves for those full 2 minutes.
And this is where getting that early dragon benefits Loud so much. That's what enables them to be able to give up dragons later on into the game, knowing that the threat of soul is so delayed. Oftentimes, these earlier game, more mid-game focus style teams, they use soul to bridge the late game gap between the compositions and end up closing out the game. And so being able to delay that is incredibly impactful. I think a lot more than many players realize, and puts Loud in such a commanding position in this game. The way that they're just answering on their waves, pushing in mid, backing off, pushing in mid, backing off, not presenting a target to Pain Gaming to break things open.
Robo being a little bit more hesitant than usual on the bot side, did go and check the river before he pushes that wave in finally. Takes a biting Keto, pulls the recall, doesn't overstep for the tower or anything like this. And he even has the Zhonya's second on the Jax. We do see the Zhonya's coming out a lot more often now that the AP is still very viable, but normally I would see it third or fourth. The second pick Zhonya's is, I'm expecting some flanking counter-strikes in the next team fights with a pick like that.
Well, and you know what it is that Loud recognizes everyone on their team just wants to buy time for Root to be able to carry. Lissandra can self-ult, also has a stopwatch and inventory. Lee Sin, incredibly good at dipping in and out of fights. And now Jax with the stasis as well. They're just, despite the lack of a true tank, going to be able to create so much space for Zarya to have a Zarya moment in the later stages. So I actually think this is a very intelligent purchase from Robo, and one that I'm a big fan of, Trajan.
Point finally dashing forward, does get a big trade on to Root as Robo attempts to crash in this wave in bot lane. Pain Gaming haven't been able to find the opening just yet, but now Croc, in fact, he goes in, he doesn't get the kickback that he wants, and it's rooted up by the Maokai. Out comes the Nami wave, onto Seos, B-Boy firing out with the culling. Robo rotates up through the river, and TP comes in from Wiser. Everyone breaks apart, no one's even that low, but again, it was Loud forcing the issue, not Pain.
Yeah, but Pain, they're forced to drop mid-wave. Croc messed up the kick flash. There's going to be a re-engage. Lots of ultimates not available for both sides. Eyes on Root, still has the lightning crash.
Robo's around the corner. B-Boy dashes in aggressive to try to peel off on him, but he walks straight into Counter-Strike, and he gets stunned up. 3 members of Pain are caught, but they manage to get over the wall. Root flashes in with a lightning crash and eliminates B-Boy, and now he is free to run rampant over this fight. Finds the double, and Loud at Dragon, name a better duo. They just don't lose here, Hawk, as Robo still dashes in once again. Just about fails to find damage. Ward jumps back to the safety, gets a flash in from Karaoke, has another Counter-Strike. Somehow Jax gets away. Tinones covers him as well. I don't know how Robo got away with that, but it's the Dragon for Loud.
Oh, what a treat it is to watch Loud team fight Root. What a psycho. I can't wait to see that again, but it's Loud. I think they firmly put a stop to the Pain train in this game. Here comes that replay. Just watch Root in this one. Robo gets everything off of B-Boy, and Root just sends it into the middle of the team, takes out the heart of the Pain Gaming composition, and from there, that's all she wrote.
The safety is Tinones, flashes in, but the ultimate gets deep onto B-Boy, but can they find the kill? Croc is in to follow it up, and Pain are being pushed out of between their towers. Look for the recall, look for the demolish right here, and Wiser is taken down. Gets the ult now with the all-out, and will eliminate Leona, and Pain potentially firing back. It's a lovely 2-man knock-up with a triple kill for Wiser. Another Intofo strike, and Pain Gaming punish Loud for the overconfidence.
Oh, Tinones is able to deny the Penta, but what a good play from Pain Gaming. Now they're the ones that are going to be able to start up this Baron. They don't have B-Boy, however. The damage won't be substantial. Robo up in 15 seconds with a teleport, and it is just going to be a recall. So despite the overextension from Loud, they won't give up anything major.
That was insane from Wiser. The triple kill on the Cassante, and Dinkato is able to sort those kills, always keeps himself safe, always deals out the damage, and even though B-Boy was eliminated first, Pain managed to make it work. Let's look at the replay.
Yeah, I mean, Loud, they're feeling strong. They've got all those ways to buy time, as we previously mentioned. The problem is you are still diving into a Maokai Cassante. They have so many ways to be able to create a lot of space, and just makes entering this fight so incredibly difficult. And likewise, Root is not really strong enough yet to actually fire through this front line the way he would want. And as you highlighted, that knock-up from Weiser was just hot.
Yeah, every single one, man. These Intopo strikes are on point for the Cassante. Goes up to 4-2-1 as well now on Pain Gaming. Most kills of anyone on the Rift on that quote-unquote tank top laner, as Robo will finally crack this bot lane. You can see the gold charts there. He's going to extend that gold lead even further. The Jax will be a late-game menace, but Root still working on it. And as you pointed out, doesn't quite have the damage just yet to take over the game.
Not quite yet, indeed, but he's getting there. Got the Last Whisper in inventory, actually not opting for the Quick Blades or the Infinity Edge, second or third. It was surprising from Root. I think the Runeans is a good purchase, but I guess identifying that the armor on the double tank front line is actually a bit of an issue, and it does mean that Pain, they're going to delay that power spike. They're going to still be in a pretty strong position for the foreseeable future. But again, that objective game is really what I have my eyes on, Trajan. Pain, they've not really been able to find anything to break open the game in terms of Ocean Soul or a Baron.
Finally pick up top lane tower. They do still have a bit of gold to get back onto Loud. They're still about 1,000 down, even after the 4-for-1 fight that they just finished having with Loud. They're still noticeably down in gold with a comp that is going to run out of steam before too long. The Dragon coming up in 45, that has got to be another time for Pain to try and keep that momentum rolling. Get a win there, they can turn that into a Baron. They can turn the Baron into the towers, and maybe they can actually wrench this game back, push us to 1-1, and not give Loud 3 match points to play with.
This game is just such an inevitable Zeri moment, I feel, for Root. I mean, we're talking about the delayed power spike, but it's coming. It is coming. The damage isn't really here for Pain Gaming in the later stages of the game, and that's when Zeri is able to run rampant. And look, maybe Pain can do what Los Grandes almost did to them and come back from an 0-2 start. And while this game is far from over, I'm with you. They look like they might drop down to that level, and that is not at all what you want to start this series.
Now, with the Spectre of last splits 3-0 at the front of their minds, I imagine, you don't want to put yourself in that same spot. You don't want to let history repeat itself.
Giving Dragon.
Loud, if we're talking about things repeating themselves, Loud always on the Dragon first. They will not be denied. They will not be beaten to this objective. And they are going to go to Ocean Soul Point with no contest.
Oh, Pain Gaming, I think, actually really fumbling the bag right here. They're going to Baron now, but it's way too late. Their Lucian was recalled in base. I think they realize that their time is running out. They're going to flip it, Trajan. Here comes the game. Right here, right now. Pain, can you execute and save your series?
We're going CBLOL mode. They peel away from the Dragon. They go into Croc. They find the charm. Can they find the kill? But Tino's over the wall with the flank. Doesn't commit to the glacial path, and Pain
Still on Baron.
Back on the objective. It didn't fully reset. Below 4k HP. Some of the ults have been used. Loud without as much threat to run through as Root is stepping up on the front line with the burst fires. Karaoke holding on to the Baron. Croc mid 20 bit flashes in, but Karaoke gets the buff. Now can they get out with it? B-Boy again getting aggressed on Loud.
Root.
Everyone has flashed out of the bit. Finds that first kill. Root finds the second. Now Weiser's left on his own. Loud picking apart Pain in the backside of this fight. Can they at least get some buffs? Can they escape with something, with anything? Root and Tino's pounding Dinkato. They haven't checked this brush. He's out with the buff.
Wow, Root actually may be afraid of getting one-shot by the Ahri, or perhaps just thought he had already based. Pain Gaming, they only dropped 2. They get away with the Baron. You know what, Trajan? It could have been a hell of a lot worse. It could have been better, but it could have been worse. And they're still fighting Pain. They will not go quietly in the series at the very least.
I like the Magi's choice for Dinkato as well that I've just clocked onto there. He is playing to carry these fights. Here's the replay. That engage was so close to working initially.
Yeah, I mean, a really, really great engage on a Croc. And at the end of the day, even though they don't get the kill, it's so impossible for Lee Sin to enter. And honestly, I respect the balls from Karaoke right here. He says, you know what? This fight's starting to get a little scuffed. Root's starting to do work. I'm going to flip the Baron. 1v1 against Croc in the pit, able to find the smite. And even though Dinkato forced to stasis immediately, it looks a little rough for Pain Gaming. It's actually so split that they're able to get a lot of members out of the fight.
Yeah, I love that once again we see Root just picking his moment to dive forward, to force the engage, to go aggressive, and get the kills that he needs to find the kill on B-Boy, to almost find it on Dinkado. When he sees his moment, Root is very confident today. He knows when to go in, and he's picking the right times. 3-1-1 right now on the Zeri is going to be set up for that late game. But, Pain, you have the Baron. You will have the pushing power. They will be able to finally get this gold lead back for themselves, I dare say, over the course of this buff. Will it be enough to get them the win in this game? Early to say.
Well, they are pushing in. They are able to take down the mid-tier 1, so it's at least something. But I agree. I sound like a broken record. They still don't have a game-winning advantage, and that's really what I'm looking for. No Dragon for 2 minutes to really fight over. We've still yet to see Ping Gaming actually really run away with any sort of team fight, but they are still playing on 2 lanes. They're going to look for these towers and try to pad out a bit of a gold advantage for themselves.
Push onto bot side. Still 25 seconds of Baron buff there to empower this wave as Robo tries to thin it out. Inown's currently on the top side with the exhaust as well, so he doesn't have a TP option to come into this lane by any flanks. I think Pain will just be able to secure a tower or 2 off this slow chip damage before the buff just outruns out. And then it will be all about the next dragon, which Loud does have the point for. Dinkado committing for the fight. They don't want to let it get to that point too soon. Karaoke's deep as a ward jump from Robo. Drags him under the tower, crocking with the flank. Now be waiting for the disengage. B-Boy barely alive, but Root again finds the kills that he needs. Robo chasing them down with a stun onto Dinkado. Leap onto B-Boy, and Pain Gaming collapse in bot lane.
Fool me once, shame on me, says Loud, but fool me twice, shame on you. The desperation from Pain kicks in once again with a dive, but it's Loud coming out on top. TP in from Robo. This might just be it, Trajan.
Got the 2 versus 1 on the top side. Exhaust order drops onto Weiser. He does have Flash to probably keep himself alive at the very least. But they're diving ever deeper. Out comes the Gargoyles, and Weiser survives, but the inhib will not be so lucky. The Sinnohs had that push going the whole damn time.
Ooh.
Pain almost with an avenue, a door back into this game. The Loud slam it in their face.
All right, though. Loud will end up backing away. Now, I still think that Loud should just be able to roll over the next team fight and wrap this game up in due time. Ocean Soul in 13 seconds. They're going to TP Tinones back out onto the map. Maybe Pain Gaming can try to rush this one down, but Pain, they are backs against the wall. Can one more desperation play go their way, Trajan? The last one did not. The first one did. Here comes the coin flip.
It'll be all or nothing here. You can't give the soul away to Loud with the lead with the 6-1 Zeri. In goes Croc trying to secure the buff, and it's picked up by Loud. They've got the soul, and the fight is falling apart once again. Robo diving forward, goes golden to buy some time as B-Boy is still healthy, but Seos tags him with the Zenith Blade. Weiser on the side, forced back with Karaoke. Loud, everyone alive, everyone healing. Root dives in again and finds damage. Picks apart B-Boy every time. The Zeri makes it work. Gets the kills for his team. Takes the initiative, and Loud are rolling towards 2-0 as Weiser, the last one standing, will be 5v1'd under the tower.
Echoes of 2022 as Loud. They're going to go up 2-0 after an impeccable team fight. Root sends it over the wall. No fear in his eyes, but never forget Croc, the kick out on Karaoke to secure the soul and get them to this point. Loud up the match point.
Everyone had questions for Loud when the one